Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and we've got a Raid Shadow Legends video here 2 days in a row that we are going over new champion graphics where we can grade abilities and talk about new additions to the game, because we've got Wight Queen Ankora that is going to be coming to the game as the next Fragment Champion starting next Thursday, about 6 days after the release of this video. Now, there is also a Void Legendary that is going to be a tandem with this new Wight Queen Ankora champion. So we're going to talk about what Plarium is saying about this champion with their text as they leak the kit to us. Then I will go over my first gut reaction gradings of each ability here on the kit. And then we'll talk about how I expect the overall grade of the champion to shake out. And we just did this yesterday with the new Fragment Trade-in champion, High Mother Maud. And in my video yesterday, I graded High Mother Maud as an A+. And then if we look at that compared to the community grading here on the poll, shout out to the thousands of you that voted in this yesterday, we could see that we predicted A tier would be the highest distribution of the grading, which ended up being true at 64%. And then I thought the grading would lean in the direction of S being a lot more common than B tier. And we do see that a little bit, but not as much as I predicted. It ended up being 16 versus 12. I thought that the S would get about double the vote of the B tier. So I thought this would be more like 16 and 8 and then extra on A tier. But nonetheless, it did end up being the A+ right here that we expected from yesterday. So High Mother Maud is going to be a very good addition to the game. And it looks like people are going to be willing to trade in some of those extra fragments to try and acquire her. Hopefully, the RNG of the chest that we're pulling, which is going to be the main concern that everybody's kind of worried about, hopefully it's realistic enough that we can trade in our fragments for a decent chance at adding High Mother Maud. But okay, in terms of this video, we've got to go over Wight Queen Ankora because she is going to be the new Fragment Champion starting next Friday. Now, she also is a tandem legendary with right here. We've got the Wight King Narcissus. So we've got a Void Legendary here in the Wight King being added, and then the Fragment Champion is going to be right here in Wight Queen Ankora. So I'm sure what Plarium is going to do is they'll do the fragment events here for Wight Queen Ankora, and then they'll probably do some sort of a 15x or a progressive chance, or maybe even a guaranteed event for the Wight King, so that people can try and pursue getting the tandem of both of them together, coinciding here in the month of February as the big fragment fusion type of event they're going to be doing for champion events in February. But now let's pull up the text from Plarium and let's see what they've got here. So we've got a Knight Revenant, a Legendary, Support, Magic Affinity. Okay, Wight Queen Ankora is a tanky champ with a focus on supporting fellow allies that will be helpful in both PvE and PvP content. Wight Queen Ankora will have a synergy with another champion, Wight King Narcissus. Let's take a closer look at her kit. With the help of A1, Ankora can manipulate cooldown, helping her allies to use skills faster along with some extra healing. Sounds like a really good A1. Then, using the A2, Wight Queen Ankora cleanses all debuffs from allies, shields them from damage by placing a shield debuff. What? Shields them from damage by placing a shield debuff? Am I crazy? That sounds weird to me. Shouldn't it be shield champions by placing a shield buff? And also filling, I'm wondering if this is a typo. I haven't seen the kit yet, but we're going to have to look at that A2. I bet she places a shield. And if Wight King Narcissus is on the team, also give a strengthen to those allies for 2 turns. And then her A3 is going to be a single target revive that resets all cooldowns of the revived ally. And also after that, she's going to give a turn meter fill to all, or a turn meter decrease to all enemies by 10%. If the revived ally is Ankora's companion, the Wight King, she revives him with a full turn meter, giving him a chance to attack right away since he's revived. And then the Queen Ankora decreases all enemy turn meter. That is going to be quite a wordy A3 here on the revive. Then she also gets a passive where it's going to looks absolutely insane. Ankora saves the life of an ally with the highest crit damage from control debuffs. Well, that's good because you can, like, if you've got her in a nuking context with a nuking team, she's going to keep your nuker alive because that person will have by far and away the highest crit damage, but then also place them on herself instead. So, okay, it looks like the control debuffs are still going to happen, but it will happen to her instead of the nuker. And if she misses her turn due to one of those debuffs, she's going to basically get half that turn back. Okay, so if Wight King is on the same team, then the Wight Queen will remove any control debuffs from herself at the start of the turn. Okay, so then you would mitigate that even further if you have the tandem going together. And then just, I'm going to guess, I haven't looked at these kits yet, I'm going to guess that the Wight King is a nuker, so the crit damage scaling bonus, or not scaling bonus, but the crit damage synergy will probably work with him as the damage dealer. But okay, attack one enemy here on the A1 with a 30% chance that can book up to a 50 of decreasing the cooldown of a random ally skill by 2 turns, except this champion. That's really good. I love that A1. And then if it's Wight King on the same team, has any active skills on cooldown, decrease the cooldown of their skills by 2 turns. So it's just got like guaranteed to target the Wight King, I guess, if he's on the same team. And if he's on the same team with no, then it's going to decrease. Okay, cool. Gotcha. And if the cooldown on a skill is fully reset, also heal them by 10%. Love the A1. You can't target it, but it is still really good. I'm going to go with an A+ here on the A1. Anytime you can cycle through and get more abilities off because of somebody's default to increase the overall impact scale of your team, love it as a default ability. Then the A2, this is going to be the one that was a little bit weird because they said a debuff for a shield, but remove all debuffs from all allies, book it to a 3-turn cooldown. That is nice. And place a shield buff. Yeah, so they just had a typo on the little Plarium text leak there. It's 25%. I love that it scales with her max HP. Hopefully, it's a decent base HP of like 21, 22,000. If it's a little bit low, like 17 or 18, that would kind of be lame. But it is nice that it scales with her, and then we just have to see what the base HP is going to be to see how well it scales. If the Wight King's on the same team, we're going to also place a strengthen and fill turn meter of all allies. So, I mean, yeah, the cleanse and the shield is nice. You know, it's decent. You can't really go wrong with a cleanse and a shield. It's a B. It's nothing super sexy or super exciting, but it's definitely a nice ability. Then you've got this A3 here. It books to a 3-turn cooldown. Revive a dead ally. 50% HP, 75% turn meter. Reset the cooldown of the revived ally skills. If Wight King is on the team, it's going to revive them with 75, and it's going to be a little bit better of a revive there with the turn meter full. After the revival, decrease the turn meter of enemies by 10%. And if Wight King is revived, decrease turn meter of all enemies by 20%, and it can't be resisted. That is definitely going to be really important because she doesn't have a whole lot of reason to build accuracy in her kit. You're probably going to want to be building her with like speed and HP. So the fact that it can't be resisted when she's doing something to target enemies is going to be super nice, but you're going to need Wight King on her team to take advantage of that tandem. Then we have a passive. Whenever an enemy tries to place a CC debuff on the ally with the highest crit damage, we're going to transfer those debuffs to this champion instead and then fill the turn meter of the champion by 50% if she misses her turn due to one of those. And then at the start of the champion's turn, she's going to remove those if the Night King is on the same team and actually be able to take her turn instead of being CC'd. If multiple champions on the team, only one will activate. And then we get a really good aura of speed in all battles by 19%. And I forgot to grade the A3 and the passive. It's a revive, and it's a pretty, again, it's a B. It's okay. It's always nice to have a revive and get a little bit bonus HP and turn meter fill, but it's nothing like super cracked. We have the passive here. It's a little bit situational, but you know, I'd go like a C+. It's got a little bit too much of a caveat, and it relies for it to be truly good. You have to have the tandem, so it's like a C+ or a B, depending on if you have the tandem going or not. So overall, if I host that same poll, she's probably gonna grade out. I would probably personally give her like a B+ as my grade. So I'm gonna guess that if we host the poll, that most of the grading votes are gonna go into the B tier, and then it's gonna scale with A getting a little bit higher percentage than C. You'll probably see like 17% on A and like 9% on C. So you'll probably see the grading look something like a B+. And I think she's solid, but nothing like super insane. The main thing that excites me about her is going to be the A1 reducing random ally skills by 2 turns. That is insane cycle ability. If you get her built 300 plus speed and you've got her taking a bunch of turns and your whole team is just cycling their cooldowns faster than your opponents, I do think there's a lot of fun things. But for me, 90% of the hype around her is going to be baked into the A1. Other than that, she's just a middle of the road average support legendary. And I want to do a separate video grading the Wight King because we'll do a separate poll. That way we can grade both these champions a little bit more accurately and a little bit more of a dedicated discussion. So head on over to the community tab. I usually link to it down below in the pinned comment and cast your vote on the Wight Queen Fragment Champion. I'm predicting it's going to probably end up somewhere close to a B+, but we'll see how it ends up grading out once everybody kind of votes. And then we'll do another video here on the channel where we talk about Wight King's kit, and then I give you my first gut reaction grades on him overall as a champion. So I appreciate all of you, and remember to subscribe on your way out. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your weekend. Peace.